Okay, so like we all know airports, right? Those necessary evils.
Security lines, the
Yeah, they
delays.
overpriced everything.
Exactly.
But what if I told you there was an airport out there actually trying to change the game and get this, their secret weapon is wood?
Wood. You don't hear airport and wood in the same sentence every day.
Right.
But that's exactly what Portland International Airport, PDX, as most folks know it, has done. They've gone and built the largest mass timber airport terminal in the entire U.S.
It's incredible, right? I mean, you've probably seen pictures, that amazing wavy roofline. It's huge. 9 acres of wood. Absolutely stunning. But it's not just about looks. We're talking about completely rethinking what an airport can be, from how it's built to how it treats the planet and the people in it.
You're hitting on all the key points there. This deep dive had me digging into articles, blog posts. I even found some fascinating engineering reports. See, PDX had a unique set of challenges they had to work with. Growing passenger numbers, but limited space to expand because of urban growth boundaries, and they're in a seismically active zone. So they had to think outside the box, or maybe inside the forest would be a better way to put it.
Okay, so we're talking about a massive undertaking here, a $2 billion project, a decade of planning and construction, and they had to keep the airport running the entire time.
That's right. It was no small feat.
So with all that on the line, why wood? Was it just for the wow factor, or was there something more to it?
Well, let me tell you, the wow factor is definitely there, but that's not the whole story. Choosing mass timber wasn't just an aesthetic decision. It was very calculated, driven by a combination of things, sustainability being a big one, and of course, cost effectiveness. And, celebrating the Pacific Northwest's rich timber heritage played a role too.
So let's talk about sustainability. It's a word we hear all the time. What makes PDX's use of wood different in that regard?
It's all about embodied carbon. Every material from concrete to steel to, well, wood has a carbon footprint. But embodied carbon looks at the emissions generated throughout the entire life cycle of that material, from extraction and manufacturing to transportation, use, and even disposal at the very end.
So it's like a cradle-to-grave analysis of a material's environmental impact.
Exactly. And here's the big takeaway. By using mass timber for this project, PDX was able to reduce the embodied carbon footprint of their new terminal by a staggering 70% compared to what it would have been if they had used traditional steel and concrete.
70%. Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah.
But they didn't stop there, did they? What else did they do to up the sustainability game?
No, PDX went all in. They incorporated a state-of-the-art all-electric ground source heat pump system that handles all their heating and cooling needs and cuts their energy consumption by another 50%.
Wow, so they're hitting sustainability from multiple angles. It's not just about doing less harm. They're actively trying to have a positive impact. But this isn't just about numbers and statistics, right? We're talking about wood here, a natural material. There's a human element to this story, too, connection to the land and local communities.
You're absolutely right. That's where the forest to frame part of the story comes in. PDX made a commitment to source all, and I mean all, of the timber for this massive project from within a 300-mile radius of the airport.
Wow, so they're talking about real, tangible, local impact. But I'm curious about the logistics of it all. Did they bring in these giant logging operations, clear-cutting forests to get the wood they needed?
Actually, it was quite the opposite. PDX took a very conscious approach to sourcing their wood.
Okay.
They partnered with a really diverse group of suppliers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, small family forests, nonprofits focused on sustainable forestry practices,
Well,
and even tribal lands were involved.
Well, so they're not just using sustainable materials. They're actually
No.
supporting a more sustainable forestry industry as well.
That's a holistic approach.
That's really impressive.
And this commitment to ethical sourcing really resonated with the suppliers.
Yeah, I bet.
One article I came across quoted Ann Niblett of the Coquille Indian tribe.
Okay.
Their forest actually provided some of the timber for that incredible roof.
Wow.
She had this great quote. She said it was like a love story between people and the land.
I love it.
It wasn't just about cutting down trees for them.
Yeah.
It was about honoring their connection to the forest
Right.
and ensuring its health for generations to come.
Okay, now that's what I call building an airport with heart.
It's pretty remarkable.
We've talked a lot about why they chose wood and this commitment to sustainability.
Yeah.
But how do you even begin to build a giant wooden roof over an operational airport? You can't just hit pause on air traffic.
That's the million-dollar question, right? It was a huge logistical challenge.
Well, I can't even imagine, the travel chaos that would ensue.
It was never an option to just shut down the airport.
Yeah.
So they had to get creative.
Okay, so how do they do it?
They devised this incredible system using these massive prefabricated sections they called cassettes.
Cassettes? Like for music. I'm dating myself here, but...
Well, maybe not quite like those.
Right.
These cassettes were a tad bigger than your Walkman.
I can imagine.
We're talking enormous chunks of the roof, some weighing over 1 million pounds each.
1 million pounds each.
Yes, and they built them off-site.
Offset. Wow, so how do they even move them? Do they have those gigantic construction cranes?
You're on the right track.
Okay.
They use these incredible machines called self-propelled modular transporters.
I don't think I've ever heard of those.
Imagine a platform on dozens of wheels, all hydraulically controlled,
Wow.
that can lift and move these mind-boggling weights with incredible precision.
Like something out of a movie.
Exactly.
Okay, so they built these cassettes off-site, moved them with these high-tech transporters. Then what? They didn't just snap them into place, did they?
No, it was much more complex than that.
Okay.
These cassettes had to be meticulously assembled high above the ground.
I can only imagine.
It was like a giant high-stakes jigsaw puzzle.
And they had to make sure the structure could withstand, well, everything, right?
Everything, the weight, the elements, earthquakes.
Right, because they're in an earthquake zone.
Exactly.
Wow, the planning and precision involved is just mind-blowing.
A massive undertaking.
It's like a symphony of engineering.
You could say that.
But let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about the construction, but what about the people who actually use the airport? What's it like to be in this new terminal?
That's the ultimate test, right?
Exactly, because a beautiful, sustainable airport,
Yeah.
that's a nightmare to navigate.
Right.
It kind of defeats the purpose.
I agree.
So what's the verdict?
Well, from what I've gathered, PDX really thought about the passenger experience.
Okay.
One article described the new terminal as having a walk in the forest vibe.
A walk in the forest. Now that sounds intriguing.
Right.
That sounds so calming, like the opposite of the usual airport experience.
Exactly the idea.
Okay, I need to hear more. Tell me everything.
So they've embraced this concept called biophilic design.
Okay, I've heard of that, but remind me.
Basically incorporating natural elements into buildings to reduce stress and improve well-being.
Yeah, I remember now.
And it's not just about aesthetics, there's actual science behind it.
So, more than just a few potted plants here and there.
Oh, way more.
Okay, give me the detail.
Think 49 skylights, bathing the interior in natural light.
That's amazing, so it actually feels like you're outdoors.
That's the goal, mimicking the feeling of being under a forest canopy.
Wow, and they didn't stop there, did they?
Nope, they went even further.
Okay, you're killing me. Tell me more.
They have 72 mature trees, ficus, olive trees, even black walnut trees thriving inside the terminal.
Wait, hold on.
What?
They brought actual trees into the airport, like full-size trees?
Full-size trees.
That's incredible. Okay, that's next-level airport design.
It's pretty impressive.
Imagine that, strolling through a grove of trees before you even get to your gate.
I know, right?
That's an experience in itself.
Definitely.
But hold on a second.
Yeah.
What about the noise? Airports are notoriously loud.
You're right. That's a good point, and it's one that PDX addressed.
Okay, good, because I was going to say
Remember that latticed ceiling we talked about?
the one that looks like a giant wooden wave.
The very same.
Okay.
Well, it turns out that intricate design isn't just for looks.
Really?
It also acts as a giant sound dampener.
No way. So it's both beautiful and functional.
Exactly. Form and function in perfect harmony.
Talk about a win-win.
I know, right? They've managed to create this really peaceful atmosphere,
Wow, that's incredible.
even within a busy airport.
That's really saying something.
It really is.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or maybe the security line in the terminal.
Chuckles. Okay, I see what you did there.
The security experience, that's what I'm talking about.
The bane of every traveler's existence.
Right. The endless lines, taking off your shoes, digging out your laptop.
Yep. It's not the most enjoyable part of the journey.
It's definitely not.
But get this, PDX seems to be ahead of the curve on that front, too.
Okay, tell me more, because that's music to my ears.
They've invested in state-of-the-art TSA lanes, equipped with 3D scanning technology.
Okay, so what does that mean for the average traveler? Less stress, shorter lines.
It means you can keep your shoes on
Yes.
and your laptop tucked safely in your bag.
That's a game changer right there.
Right.
No more scrambling.
No more holding up the line while I try to wrestle my laptop out of my bag.
I love it. What else do they do?
They also have those automated security lanes.
Oh, with the self-replenishing trays.
The very same.
Yes. Those are a game changer, too.
Anything to make that process smoother,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. I'm all for it.
And they didn't stop there.
Of course not. They've thought of everything.
They've introduced something called robotic mobile inspection tables.
Robotic what now?
I know, it sounds futuristic, right?
Very Jetsons.
Basically, these robots help the TSA agents move heavy bags and luggage.
Oh, that's smart.
It reduces the risk of workplace injuries for those folks.
So it's a win-win.
Exactly.
Safer for the employees and a more efficient process for travelers.
You've got it.
I am seriously impressed. I'm seeing a real pattern here. They have thought of everything.
They really have.
From the big picture, the sustainable materials, the forest-to-frame concept, to the smallest details, like these robotic inspection tables.
They sweated the details, that's for sure.
It's clear that they meticulously considered every single aspect of the passenger experience.
And they're not done yet.
Wait, really?
It's just phase 1.
There's more. What else do they have planned?
Phase 2 is slated to wrap up in 2026.
Okay.
It's bringing even more exciting stuff to the table.
Like what? Give me the highlights.
Think expanded amenities, new places to eat and shop.
Always a plus in an airport.
And they're going even further in creating a seamless passenger experience.
So even smoother sailing than what they've already accomplished. Color me impressed.
It's not just about the physical additions, though.
Okay, now you've got me really curious. What's bigger than a 9-acre wooden roof and a super smooth airport experience?
Think of it like this. They're setting a new standard for what an airport can be.
So PDX is kind of like the overachiever of the airport world, setting the bar high for everyone else.
You could say that.
I like it.
It's about prioritizing sustainability, passenger well-being, that local connection.
It's like they're not just building an airport, they're building a movement.
And it's catching on.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Other airports, even big projects in other industries, they're watching what PDX is doing.
I can see why it's pretty inspiring.
Taking notes, getting inspired.
It gives you hope, you know?
It does.
In a world that often feels laser-focused on the bottom line, cutting corners,
Right.
PDX is saying, hey, we can do better.
And they are doing better.
It's possible to choose a different path, one that puts people and the planet first,
Absolutely.
without sacrificing quality or experience.
And that's huge.
It really is.
Makes you wonder what else we could achieve if we just thought a little differently.
Right. If PDX can pull this off, what other seemingly impossible challenges could we overcome if we just ditch the old playbook?
It's about challenging the status quo.
Dreaming bigger.
Absolutely.
And maybe using a whole lot of sustainably sourced wood in the process.
Why not?
Exactly. So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into the marvel of engineering and sustainability that is the new Portland International Airport.
It's a remarkable project.
It really is. And more than that, it's a beacon of hope, a testament to what's possible when we dare to reimagine even the most mundane parts of our world. Like, who would have thought an airport could be this inspiring?
Not me.
Me neither. But here we are, and I, for one, am feeling optimistic about the future.
As am I.
So the next time you're feeling that airport stress creeping in, remember PDX. Remember what's possible when we choose to think differently.
And maybe pack a little extra patience.
Always good advice. Until next time, safe travels, everyone.